we out here. We're gonna talk about the very first meet of Dallas versus Houston, which in my opinion is a very interesting game. I don't know why it doesn't wanna get rid of my taskbar, but there you go. Those are my most used applications. I have Adobe and all that. So yeah, so fairly interesting series. As far as I know, Houston 3-0 the fuel, seemingly without a problem. At least that's what I gathered from social media. And I'm actually curious how that happened. Not necessarily because I'm a fan of either team, but because Dallas Fuel kind of has a semi-stacked roster. I don't know how you're gonna get away with 3-0ing them. So this is very unique, and I was also told that the there's a little bit more hero variety, comp variety in this one. So we shall see. Also, Dante now on tank. Never thought you'd see the day, but there it is. Dante is now on tank. So let's see what the first comps that they're going to be using are. I mean, I heard it's Dante Doomfist, right? Yep, there we go. So let's pause it right here. Let's analyze what we have. So we will demark Dallas Fuel as blue. Uh, is it really a tracer? Let's see. Pretty sure. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Soldier 76, right? So it's going to be 76, a Genji, a Winston, Ana, and Lucio. Now, this comp, or that comp that I just said, speaks like it's just a normal dive, right? Like very traditional dive. You have Fearless. It's a dive composition. It relies on fearless initiating. Actually, no, that's not true. It's not so much fearless, but fielder getting a good Ana nade, preferably on the enemy Ana, right? On Iris. And then of course you have your typical dive shenanigans. Your Winston walks up, your Genji dashes in. Soldier 76, which I think this is going to be spamming. Spamming from the back line. You're also trying to go for flanks from time to time, but only if you're kind of secure because, again, this is Koth. Koth typically uh, favors dive, and if you get caught out, then um, you're kind of dead, right? Back line. All right. And then your Lucio just your Lucio is basically going to be switching between being a DPS and someone who just makes sure that your Ana doesn't die immediately. Your Ana is probably going to die, but it's in your best interest that their Ana, the enemy Ana, dies first, and that your Ana lives for as long as possible. So Lucio switches from or between DPS and peel, right? You're peeling for your Ana. You're well, typically it's going to be the Ana. Sometimes you're going to be peeling for Fearless on Winston or your Genji or your Soldier 76, whoever's being dove. And on the side of the Houston Outlaws, you also have dive, but unlike the Dallas Fuel dive that has what do you call this? Some modicum of spam in the form of Genji and 76. There's even more spam here because I don't think they're going to run merit on Sim. There's going to be 76 plus Echo, which in my opinion is actually a lot better than Genji. Straight up, like in all forms. But I'll explain a little bit more as we go into the VOD why. But yeah, it's a dive. It has a lot of spam, has more spam than the the enemy team composition right now by virtue of just having this echo. This is basically very much all in. What I mean by that is the moment that Dante dives, everybody else pretty much has to commit hard and like really hard. Otherwise, Dante just feeds and the rest of the team just dies as individuals. So it has to go all in whenever it dives, else they just lose. So it's very vital that Dante either converts any punch or engage into an immediate kill to kill, go fast. Needs to kill on engage. Because otherwise they just feed. There's just not gonna be enough in the tank for the Houston Outlaws to survive the Dallas Fuel and their counter dive. So it's either A, you spam them out. So the win condition for the Houston Outlaws is to keep spamming so that the dive from the Dallas Fuel never comes, and so that the dive from Dante, the all-in punch-in for Dante, is going to be a lot more effective because it's going to net a kill on engage. And of course, it's the typical like dive shenanigans. You're waiting for the nade. Your Lucio is gonna peel from blah blah blah. Your Lucio in this one though is probably more concentrated on DPSing. So Lucio DPSs more. And yeah, and of course, if you're the Dallas Fuel, I think I think your best chance of to beat this is to just make sure that everyone is able to survive this dive because the Dallas Fuel composition is fast, but the Houston Outlaws comp by definition, if they play it correctly, and I mean we kind of know that they will play it correctly, needs to be even faster, and it can go much faster, but it needs full-on commitment from each and every single member of the team, and the spam has to be good. Otherwise, this does not work. So we shall see what happens. So both teams are just gonna go for the Symmetra TP. This heavily implies that yes, they are indeed just gonna switch to Soldier, or maybe even a Tracer. I would favor a Soldier here just because Soldier is kind of OP, especially now that there's just one tank. So Dante kind of spacing them out a little bit. This is a fairly good place to control if you're a Doomfist, just because a single punch would just land them onto the back, and that might be a kill. It's not really a very good place in my opinion because your Ana is over here, right? Iris is over here. And if Dante stays too long for over here, then like one Iris might get spammed out by by the backline of the Dallas Fuel, right? Because they have line of sight of this area. And I guess most importantly is Dante is going to be out of LOS of their Ana, right? There's no LOS here, or there's barely any LOS. Dante has to move over here, which opens him up to the spam from the backline of the Dallas Fuel, which is kind of bad. So I think Dante going here is okay, right? Slamming here and just preventing them from walking forward, or just putting the fear in them, in the Dallas Field, from taking this high ground without any fear, and then forcing basically both teams to play hookah. And hookah is pretty dangerous if you're playing against a Doom because these are walls, right? This is very much very close to some back wall where you can just get punched and CC'd by a Doomfist in its current form. So, and another thing that I guess is interesting because the typical positioning that I see from teams in tier 3 is that they send an echo all across the map to the side where this high ground is. But instead, Pelican uh, and Merit decide to spam over here, and that's going to be important a bit because there's a lot more cover and a lot more flanking opportunities over here, especially if the enemy team decides to play on hookah, than over here. There's no cover from if you're an echo and you're gonna go into this area. There's literally no cover. You probably need a pocket, and even with a pocket, it's really questionable whether or not you'll survive. So there you go. Okay, so here's the spam coming in. Fearless is already like half health. He needs to back off. The plan was to just dive Iris right now because the nade already came out from Fielder, right? But Fearless needs to back out because there's an echo. The echo will just beam down this Winston, and this Winston is just gonna die. Like, no problem. It's like, you're just gonna die. So, here's the plan of the Houston Outlaws coming into effect. Dante immediately goes in. The moment that he sees, oh, like, Fearless is backing out, fuck this, we're gonna go into their Ana and we're gonna kill her. Especially now that she has no nade. And then full on. Doesn't matter if there's a soldier. She's out in the open right now. She can be attacked, but from different angles. Doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Pelican goes in with the Doomfist. Full commitment. No fear. Now Sparkle tries to go for the trade, but unfortunately Dante's just a little bit quicker than Fearless. Fearless tries to go for another trade himself, but he just doesn't have the damage. Just no damage. So the Outlaws get the point. Have to retake on the Dallas Fuel. So this is interesting. So it's very typical for teams to go up from hookah and take up the high ground because this is fairly safe for if you're an Ana, and even in Overwatch 2, this is still very safe because especially against the comp that they're running against. This Pelican needs to play out in the open if he wants to spam this, right? Or he needs to go for a full-on rotation. Otherwise, this is not gonna work. He's not gonna get any kills. It's too dangerous for Pelican to go into hookah and then hope that no one on the Dallas Fuel turns around and just kills him. So, taking this high ground is kind of okay if you're the Dallas Fuel, right? And if you're the Houston Outlaws, you don't really need or want to take this high ground. Why? Because it just forces Pelican to play open, right? It's better if you're inside the hookah, because the hookah provides a fair amount of protection from all the shenanigans that the typical Dallas dive will bring, right? So this move right here by Dante is kind of confusing at first, but I think the plan was to again scare the living daylights out of them from ever going onto this high ground, right? Because the Dallas Fuel want this high ground. The Houston Outlaws don't really need this high ground. But if they're gonna go up here, might as well deny them. So the plan was to engage up here, also because they had the assumption that Fielder was already up here, right? That he rotated like that. And that's why Dante right now is slamming in. The other assumption that they're making, and I guess this is just miscommunication from the Houston Outlaws, is that Iris is already in position and ready to heal Dante from either over here or from hookah. But unfortunately, Iris is not yet here. He's still respawning or walking from spawn. Lastro is just here ready to either assist in DPSing or engaging with Dante, and the two DPS are just grouped up and ready to spam from afar. So cooldowns are gone. Dante's critical. Sparkle goes for the kill and gets a 2K, and that I believe is going to be the point for the Dallas Fuel. Easy peasy, but yeah, that looked like, for me anyway, that looked like some miscommunication. The plan was correct. Prevent the Dallas Fuel from taking high ground. Unfortunately, their intelligence about where Fielder was wrong, right? He was not yet there. He was still in hookah. And secondly, Iris was not in position. So that was the reason why, or those were the reasons why this didn't work. So this is interesting. Pelican is going up here because they know that this time for sure, uh, Fielder is up here, the Soldier 76 is up here. So they need to get rid of them immediately. But unfortunately, just not enough damage. I don't think Merit got into position. They are trading some back lines right now. Pelican gets a kill on Fielder, but I think at this point it's just too late. I don't think you win these. You shouldn't win these. Does not want to engage. That's very, very strange, right? I think you still chase this. I think they were just afraid that Fearless is very, very low. He doesn't have ult yet. So that's why they back off. Okay. I would have wanted that chase. Oh, this is actually a very good kill. They just spawn camp, immediate response from Dallas Fuel, and this is something that you want to do as a team whenever your support, your main support, or your, I don't know what even who is your main support now is, because 5v5 just made roles a little bit more different, more significantly so at the higher levels. But whenever they're hard diving your support, immediately trade. Just go for the trade like that, like what the Dallas Fuel currently are doing. Forces the beat from Lastro to prevent more deaths. They are trading really, really well. Sparkle does not have, what do you call this? Blade yet. It is also timed against Edison's Tac Visor, which means it's all good, but the fight after this might be a little bit more sketchy. Because now they don't have Tac Visor. Or they don't have a beat for the blade, rather. For the Dallas Fuel's blade. So in the confusion, they kind of got split up, right? That's I think that's partially why they won. Another reason why is because Fielder was just not there. Not having this nade from your Ana is just so big. Because now the Houston Outlaws, despite being tac visor right now and being pummeled to death by Fearless, who's currently asleep, got slept by Iris, which is going to be a very common theme in this matchup, I think, from my initial viewing. They still have a lot of burst healing because of this Ana. Their Ana's alive, you have a nade. And nade equals burst heals. Not having that burst heal, very big. Because now Chio will have to use his beat, which it doesn't have. And you need to expend more ults just so that you can stay in that fight. Whereas the Houston Outlaws, they're kinda okay. I say that like they use 3 ults, never mind. I didn't notice that. But yeah, you still have a lot of burst healing. So you're still fine-ish. Okay. So this time the Dallas Fuel opt to engage from the high ground. Why is that? Right? Why is this their positioning? Hmm. Well, the only thing that I can think of is that they want to engage into hookah even harder. And I guess that's just the default positioning for a dive, right? Still want your supports to be up there. Okay. I don't think that was necessarily on purpose, but then again, right now Lucio DP as a DPS is actually pretty good. Uh, so I don't know if it's such a bad thing to copy a Lucio right now in Overwatch 2, in its current form. Also, excellent, excellent like response from Pelican, right? He's like currently on Lucio, immediately tries to goes full on Lucio mode and just tries to beat, or not really beat, peel for their Ana. Didn't quite work. Didn't get the beat in time. The cleanup is there because on that other fight, the previous fight, the Houston Outlaws had to use 3 ults instead of just the 2. And now they have to retake. They don't really have any ults. Feeler is almost to a nano boost. On paper, this should be a win, but something else happens. Yeah. Sparkle gets caught out. Uh, and then Pelican just goes for the assassination. Gets assassinated himself. But now the mortal sin of almost every single dive happens. You leave you leave the LOS of your main support, and moreover, he doesn't have any help right now. That's going to be very consequential because Dante can just get a free kill on Fielder, as you can see. And now, Fearless, despite being a god on every single tank that he's ever played so far, despite that, he's not going to survive this. He has no heals. He has no backline. Not sure why Sparkle is here and trying to risk this. He's not close to Blade. Like, his friend Edison almost got killed by Dante. So yeah, God, that was a little bit risky. But grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter until that happened. Fearless swaps to Doomfist. Now, this one, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe this is a symptom of them not really understanding how to deal with the Dante Doomfist, so you just copy the Doom and then hope for the best. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they switched. I think Fearless being on Winston would have been a little bit more beneficial, even if he doesn't have ult. I guess right now their plan is to just get a very quick pick off with the understanding that Houston Outlaws right now have more ults than us. They do have the point. They're very close to winning. So the best thing that we can do is just go for a high risk play, get a pick off, and then like roll with it. If it works, then we just instantly win. I guess that's the mentality behind this. I don't know who is shooting this, but it's making, yeah, it's like, dude, it just made Dante's punch even more effective after the first one. So there's the first punch. I think it's Fielder going for a nade and then just Chio spamming. And that was actually a very good nade. I just noticed this. Iris actually got a very good nade. I'm just waiting for Pelican to show up, honestly. I actually, never mind. Pelican's right there. There's the beam. There's the winning beam from fucking Echo. Oh no, Edison just got cornered. And yeah, this is it. So Dallas Fuel went for the switch because they wanted to get a quick pick off. Because they, with the full understanding that the Houston Outlaws they knew were at an ult advantage. So maybe by switching to a even faster composition, they could have maybe gotten that kill. But yeah, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I can't really blame them for doing that. Oh, We went into the future a little bit too soon. Okay. I don't know what happened to the first fight, but okay, so wow, we went into the future really, really far. Okay. Typical Symmetra shenanigans. Now they mirror, right? I can see why. Um, because this map is just a very big square. So a lot of punch opportunities, right? And even if they make the mistake of going inside this room, right? Even more punch opportunities. So yeah, even here, if you choose to hold these chokes, right? More punch opportunities. So it makes sense to play Doomfist. I never really liked playing Doomfist or having my teams play Doomfist on this map, just because of the nature of Doomfist in Overwatch 1. He's just too all in. This one is a little bit more survivable, so I'm more I'm more open to using a Doom comp in this one. Not just because Doom is now a tank. Okay. Also, you saw how useful the spam is, and perhaps not really not really understanding the limitations of their composition against the Houston Outlaws, right? Fearless is already half health. Just getting up here. Because he got spammed by Pelican who just went all the way around. Right, let's use red. Who went all the way around over here, out in the open, again, with a full-on trust that Lastro and Dante will go up here and engage hard onto this high ground spot to take down someone. And right now they're kind of out of LOS, by the way, of Fielder, or not Fielder, from Iris, right? Iris is not yet in position. This is Iris right here, I think. Edison is just going to spam from outside. But yeah, Fearless is forced to back off. I'm not sure. Well, yeah. Sparkle right now is playing a little bit aggressive, but he's not dashing in. So this still flies. This still makes sense. Now, this, in my opinion, is the worst possible place to play a Doom or against the Doomfist composition, whether be it an Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2, because you're just gonna get punched into the wall and CC'd into the corner. And then, of course, if the enemy Ana is already in position, you get anti-nated. Oh wait, that's not their. That's not. That's not the Houston Outlaws anti-nade. But yeah, you get the idea. If Iris was actually in position in this high ground right here, nade is so easy. Nade is incredibly easy. And then you're gonna be bunched up in a small corner against the Doomfist with a charged punch. Oh boy. So what they did there for the Houston Outlaws, down to engage from the front. The rest of the team, the entire team, just rotated from main into this small room and then just trapped them. No fear. Again, at any point, I think the Dallas Fuel could have turned around and then killed the back line, but they didn't. They couldn't. And I guess that says a little bit about the coordination about the Dallas Fuel too, or how experienced or inexperienced rather they are against this comp with the Doomfist. Okay, so again, this is another example of just how to play this comp. Like, Dante just goes in, he doesn't give a fuck, and more so for Pelican. Pelican right now is out of LOS of any and every single help that could possibly be given to him. And yet he's going for it. The moment that if Edison even turns around and just starts shooting him, like, Pelican's dead. Pelican is dead. But he has full on trust on his team. And he should have died here, but again, his team just went all in. And for that, they got rewarded. They trade merit on Soldier, but that's okay. They trade merit for the rest of the Dallas Fuel. So I think Edison needs to do an even better job. It's like, dude, he just needs to full on hunt down this Echo. But then again, the genius of the Houston Outlaws positioning is that this Echo is almost never too far away from this Doomfist. So whenever if Edison chose to go in, right? Wait, let's change the color. If Edison decided, hey, I'm gonna do my other job of just pressuring this Echo so that she doesn't do anything. Edison stands here. Dante just turns around, kills him with the pellet with the Echo. Like done deal. Echo. So Edison tries to pressure him. Fearless goes for a tech, a movement tech, doesn't quite work, and this fight is already over. Edison successfully kills Pelican, but yeah, no Fearless. You can maybe linger around a little bit, but this is dangerous. This is hella dangerous. So they did linger around. Fearless is back. Fearless tries to duel with the Doomfist, but here's the problem with that. The Doomfist already has ult, right? So Doomfist right now is not the best target. The best target is to actually go up here. Try to kill Iris with the rest of your team. As hard as that might be, because right now, Houston Outlaws have hella ults. So they tried to kill Dante, couldn't because, well, he just has an escape mechanism in the form of his ult. They also have Merit's attack visor, so yep, that's a done push. Never was gonna succeed unless just Houston fucks up badly. Okay, so this is another interesting position. Pelican now plays. I guess this is just to confuse Edison, right? Because he now noticed Edison was trying to actively hunt for him on the sides. So now Pelican is playing a lot more defensively by going into the back line, maybe even over here, or like at the back of the walls, like this one. Yeah, he's playing a lot more defensive. So Sparkle tries to go for an assassination on that, forces the beat because no, sorry, Edison forces the beat because he goes for attack visor. There's now two Doomfists on the field. Unfortunately, couldn't get the other punch. They do assassinate Fielder though, which is big. Sparkle pulls out the blade just to secure the win. In retrospect, this probably wasn't necessary, but they just wanted to make sure that. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, they can now stay on the point for the Houston Outlaws. This is weird. Edison, you just need to go to the. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think he's trying to dual merit right now. But I believe that you need to, as Soldier 76, just hard pressure this Echo. I guess he's trying to go for an assassination on Iris when he rotates. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. Good nade, but even better escape mechanism from or escape tech from Dante. Edison does get a successful kill on Merit, so the plan to assassinate him successful. It's not typically the hero that you want to assassinate as a 76 in this composition, but you know, it works. It prevents the push. Uh-oh. This is the part where they kinda monka-est on the broadcast, but getting the high ground, finds a corner, Edison dies. They trade Dante, but again, Dante is just the tip of the spear. For as long as Dante can get a kill and force everyone else from the Dallas field to back off or take a lot of damage, you're good. You're Gucci. Just need the follow up, the full on follow up, balls to the wall, in or nothing. So they nano boost Sparkle just to drive the Outlaws away. They do get a kill out of that, so it's not completely just a zoning ult. Houston Outlaws have Tac Visor almost up, plus the nano boost. Who did they nano? I didn't notice. Oh, they nano the Echo. Okay. They just outduel Sparkle. I mean, that's a plan. This is also why this is also why you don't really want to play inside the small room against a Doomfist. There's a demo right here. Well, for one, you don't really have a very good you don't have a very good sightline of your own team. And then for another, you're inside an enclosed space. There's a Doomfist, and he has ult. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I guess this is also another problem that Dallas will seem to have. It's like just positioning as well. Positioning and just understanding how their comp is supposed to work. Because Fearless just took so much spam rotating in. Not that it's completely his fault. He it's not like he had a lot of choice. The call was to rotate to the high ground. But yeah, like Pelican just pressured him hard, as as it was in the first map, as is in the second map.